strategic level that comes up to you. So if the complaint happens, it's the professional against being not valued by a professional, because when it actually comes up, when I attend our management committee meetings in our insurance company, and when I do the reviews in our other companies, I think that everybody's voice is definitely there.
Right. We are running short of time, so I'm going to take one more question, and this is about you talked about the board of directors, and you also mentioned that leaving to the board involves the board, and in terms of consultation and decision making. One challenge is that often many families take the key decisions at the dining table, or not in your case, but often that happens. Or informal consultation among the family members, they come with sort of an agenda, sort of a game plan, that this is what we are going to invest in this area, we are going to open a branch in this country or something like that. And if the board comes down and says that, okay, this is not the best thing for you to do, would you go by the board's decision, or would you say that, well, I respect all your views, but this is what I'm going to do?
If you see our board members, you'll understand why I can't get away with that. We have some of the strongest people in this country on our board. Dr. Ganguly, Omkar Goswami, Kalpana Morparia, Tino Puri, all the big marquee leaders, and very independent-minded people. It's not just that the people you check box and say, are they independent by the definition of the company law? They're really independent-minded. Just give you an anecdote, an example. Right? We actually negotiated a deal with a very large company and had a draft contract ready. It was a major deal, and went into the board and presented the deal. And out of the 6 independent directors at that time, 2 agreed with me, 4 did not agree. So we had an 8-hour board meeting, and at the end of the board meeting, the decision was not to go forward. And I was arguing for about 8 hours to do the deal, and I was overruled. That's the strength of our board. I respect them, it was the right decision at the end of the day. But in our case, we just can't get away with that kind of behavior. We take a decision and present it as a fait accompli. It just doesn't work for us. And I will tell you, I've got incredibly benefited by the wisdom of the board members. Even though sometimes we didn't agree, in the end it proved that they were right. That's why you have such eminent people on your board, people who can really guide the company, add value in terms of strategic discussions, and give different perspectives.
And they will not continue unless you give that freedom.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, if left to some of us in the family, we would have had walkout by now. It didn't pass the test. And we really fought that whole thing. I think that was a huge, that was, I think, one of the biggest, the challenges that we faced as a family and also as a board coming up there, that kind of a thing. And the board withstood it, and some of the things that, Dad earlier on, when he had this, when we had Mr. Babu and Balaji and all these people joining our board at various times, he thought that he could get away in the old days, like he said, I want to put this hospital up and or I want to spend on this, and he was reined in, and that was tough for him. But
at the end of the day, it's in your interest to have a strong board.
Absolutely.
Right.
The board is on your side,
Absolutely.
not against you.
Especially
They're trying
now.
to help shareholders, and you are the biggest shareholder.
Right.
They represent the broad shareholding of an listed company, an independent director, and what's good for them is good for you.
And there is no family owned company in India which is publicly listed or which cannot afford to have a good board, which won't have one and listen to it. That's an underlying truth in all family businesses today.
Okay, that's great. With that note, we will would like to thank you for coming, and it was wonderful spending time with you and listening to your thoughts. And as a token of our love, affection, unity, 2 minutes. Some very 2 minutes closing thoughts. We had a wonderful time. I hope you also had enjoyable time, interesting and instructive, intellectually stimulating. A couple of points that I would like to restate, reinforce is that professionalization is critical for any business, whether it is entrepreneurial company or it is a first generation company or a family business, multi-generational company. And that process doesn't take place automatically. You have to realize that it has to happen. And that's an unavoidable part of it. And if you look at all the case studies that we had, you would find that there is a conscious effort made from day one. And going back to the GMR story, which came up within a short period of time, they constantly address this, along with the growth, they address the need for professionalization, involvement of family as well as non-family members. And I know that if I, based on my understanding of the family, they themselves upgraded over a period of time. And one of the capabilities they built was their own ability to conduct family meetings that enabled them to interact confidently with top quality talent in the company. I think that also is there. So the learning comes from one side to the other. I think that's the process of professionalization. So professionalization doesn't happen only in the corporate context, but also happens in the family context. If you look at all the three, they said that there is interaction, there are mechanisms for this to sustain the process. That's one part of it. The second challenge for entrepreneurs as well as family businesses, especially those who do not work at senior level in corporations, especially those who have not had a chance to explore the life in a big company, especially those who haven't seen high quality systems and processes in operations. It's a process of discovery. You move from 50 lakhs to 5 crores to 50 crores to 500 crores. Every stage it's a new orbit. The fuel mix is different. The attitude is different. The outlook is different. So you have to keep discovering. And I think that is a realization that happens only if you have the realization that I need to do that. That humility comes and drives you. And I think that helps you in terms of professionalization. One more thing is that the family harmony. Again, the three families would very clearly show that family harmony is fundamental to corporate growth. All the three groups have grown very rapidly, have demonstrated their ability to grow, continue to grow. And that's possible. There is huge harmony within that. They're not talking about splitting the wealth, splitting the wealth, splitting their worlds, they're splitting their businesses. So they are keep talking about keeping it together. Prasad started with that when he started the journey. So I think there is a possibility, it's possible to keep the family together, businesses together. And let's not start with the default option that split is the simplest thing which should happen always. The general part is that the quality of execution, again, whether it is the family part or the business part, is very, very critical. You can't keep postponing execution challenges. You have to do that with discipline. Again, all the three families, three case studies reinforce that execution challenges have to be addressed. And you build scenarios. That's one of the things I have seen from my consulting experience is that I build scenarios, what would happen to the family members after 5 years, after 10 years? What will be their roles? How do we address some of those changing scenarios? When you're 25 to 45 to 50, when you don't have children to when you have children, when the children are growing up. When the size of the company is only 50 crores to 5,000 crores. The scenarios are different. The people are different. The attitude changes. So if you can build those scenarios and anticipate, that's the advantage of family governance or business governance, business planning and all. I think that's what all the families are trying to do. And we have innumerable experiences, examples from India as well as Middle East, and Thomas shared some of those wonderful stories. So that's where I would like to stop.
Thank you very much. First of all, Kiran, Thomas, Shobhana, Prasad for coming and sharing their experiences. It was really wonderful. And thank you for all of you for coming down. This is not the end of the story. We continue the story, continue the journey. But we'll take a break. We'll have some coffee outside. You couldn't join me on the stage, but please do join me outside. We'll have some coffee and some snacks before you leave. That's a family tradition. Thank you very much.